Hey guys, this is the spiral line attunement that you're about to try. So, not a yoga posture, this is an exploration. You can even experiment, but what this is really about is an opportunity to feel the spiral fascial lines in your body. Like, where are they? What do they do? We'll be talking about their location and all the things that they do to create dynamic stability. So, you use these in all kinds of twisting motions or carrying, moving things across from one side of the body to the other, from down low to up high, and vice versa. Any swinging sport that involves a stick or a racket is going to use the spiral lines. And then, of course, we use it in all kinds of standing, balancing, and twisting postures in yoga. So the spiral lines are all about dynamism, and you'll learn a lot about that. So enjoy this video. Make sure you're doing it in your body. It's not for sitting and watching. And if you learn something new, tell me in the comments.
So now we'll start experimenting with feeling this line. And we're going to lie on our backs. So lie on your back. And it'll show you probably how habitual it is for you, if you've been practicing yoga for some time, for you to actually brace your core. And that's actually a good thing, but of course we need to be able to turn that off when it's appropriate, and this is one of those times. So if you can, completely turn off your core bracing, step your feet in and just plant your feet, and they can be kind of a really comfortable distance away from your sitting bones, and just relax there. Try to keep your core very relaxed, your neck very relaxed, and then allow your knees to fall over to the right side, and let's just see what happens in the body when we do that. So you're going to see that the body's, if you let the knees fall over there, you're going to feel a pull through the diagonal, through the trunk of the body, and you're actually going to rotate the head opposite too. If we gather through the belly and bring the knees back to center, soften our brace and go to the other side, just drop to the left side now. Though the leg lines of the spiral line are pretty strong and resistant because, again, they're keeping you upright and helping you walk, etc., do dynamic movement on your feet, but they're strongly reinforced, and they're going to pull the body over to one side, and then the rest of the body is going to respond. And you can see this spiral that naturally happens all the way up through to the neck of the head. So it's kind of a nice, relaxing practice to just let the knees drop from side to side several times and just let the body respond. So I invite you to try that at home, but otherwise these guys have work to do now. So you're going to just bring it back to center, and let's rock and roll up and down the spine, come to our feet. So once again, we're going to organize and activate into Tadasana, and I'll just talk about what the spiral line happens to be doing at that time. So let's organize with the great toe straight ahead, heels a little bit wider, and ensure that the knees are unlocked. So, it can be a pretty strong habit in the body to have the knees locked, so let's intentionally unlock the knees. And then we start to press down into the feet and energize as though we're dialing the feet and knees away from each other. So keeping the knees unlocked, you should immediately start feeling some toning in the thighs and the seat. And then you might also sense that you've lifted the arches of your feet through the inseams of your legs to pelvic floor and lower belly. So the more you press down and activate, the more you're going to feel that. But I want to encourage you to play with how much activation you actually use. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less, but obviously in Tadasana you don't need to be using all of your strength. Okay, so what's the spiral line doing right now? The spiral line is kind of coming along with the lateral lines in stabilizing the ankle, knee, and hip. The extra part that the spiral line does is it's one of the really important lifters of the arch of the foot. So when you tap into that external activation, it really helps lift the arch of the foot. Whether you have an actual arch or your arch is very low or perhaps fallen, or it could be non-existent, it's still going to help you activate the muscles under the foot, and those are very important to activate. All right, so let's stand up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Very nice. All right, our first posture is Kati Cakrasana. So I think maybe Tani and Janice, just step back a little bit so we have room to spread our arms out. We'll take our arms out to the sides, turn the palms upward. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed because they will fatigue. Make sure the knees haven't locked back and keep energized through the center of the body. Inhale, and then exhale, spin to the right side. Beautiful. Now, we're going to do this in two different ways. So one way could be that we're going to keep the hips squarely forward. So if you have perhaps knee issues or something like that, it might be better in your body to not allow the pelvis to come with you, okay? And then you would just keep organized and activated from the pelvis down, just like we do in Tadasana. And then you just bring the body into a spiral from the pelvis to the crown of the head. So you can just see how far the body is willing to go there. And what's happening here is one side of the spiral line is allowing this to happen, and the other side is actively making it happen. So they kind of spell each other off like this. When you rotate to one side, one part of the spiral line is actively doing that, and the other side is allowing it. Or we could say it's sort of facilitating it. So we're not getting resistance on both sides at the same time. Okay, so the other way you could do this posture is actually allow the pelvis to turn. And then you would be activating the spiral line right from the feet. And you can actually feel that happening. So you're going to press into your feet, keep the spine nice and tall. Having upright posture is very important if we're going to go into a spiral pattern. Beautiful. So let's give them some relief. We'll come around to the center. Would you guys like to bring your arms down for a sec? Okay, just shrug the shoulders out. And we'll inhale the arms to come up. Remember, the arm lines really help weave into the spiral line and the deep and the superficial back line. So that's where they're getting their strength from. So if we really plug those arms into the body, that's going to help us. So once again, we can either spin from the spine only, and notice how that feels in the knees. But if you have knees that are quite happy to let you go into a little bit of a rotation, the knees don't actually rotate when they're extended like this. They don't have rotation at that time, but there will be a little bit of shear on the knee at that time. And if you have a healthy knee, totally okay. But if that creates, a little issue for you because you've had a previous injury or something like that, then you might notice that's a little uncomfortable. So remember, this is something that's happening right from the arches of the foot all the way up through the body and rising up through the crown of the head. Spiral line on this side, facilitating this action, which she's tensioning there. This one is coming along for the ride. All right, let's come back to center and let the arms come down. Yay. Very nice. Shrug out the shoulders. Good. All right, so let's be at the front of our mats now. Actually, let's go down through downward facing dog. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale up to half lift, soft knees. Exhale, bring hands to the mat, step or hop back to upper push-up position. And you can lower knees down first if you like, or take chaturanga as you wish. Inhale, little cobra. Dialing hands away from each other. Exhale, lower, tuck toes, press back, downward facing dog. Nice. Okay, let's press down into your left foot. Look forward, step your right foot through. Let your left knee to come down, okay? Good. So now I want you to feel into your left toes here. Press into the toes and activate the leg. Inhale the arms to come up, and then exhale, coming across the right thigh. Pressing the elbow into the thigh and rolling that's the right shoulder back. So on this posture, your back leg, the left leg in this case, is the tension part of the spiral line. So keeping lots of activity in this line as you rotate open is going to help stabilize this posture. And we can test that out by pressing down, straight down into right foot, pull that energy into the belly, and then press into your back foot and lift the back knee. And so here, You can straighten the knee if that feels good. Push into that foot. So just experiment with how it informs the posture and the spiral, pressing into that back foot. Find your great toe, feel the arch of the foot, feel that the tensioning of the back leg through the front and side of your left hip, and rotating your right thorax open, taking your right shoulder back. And it's also informing the extension of the back as well. Remember, because when you see somebody collapsing forward, can you maintain to just kind of look at the back wall? If somebody's collapsing forward here, they're not tapping into the spiral line fully until they start extending the spine. Okay, so that makes it all work. All right, let's bring the back knee down, bring the hands down, and then step back downward facing dog. Beautiful. Feel free to pedal that out a little bit. Great. Let's step strongly into right foot, step your left foot through. You can bring your knee down. Good. And sweep the arms up, inhale. Exhale, palms together, and take your elbow across the thigh. So just staying right here, and it's perfectly fine, of course. The spiral line is still at work, whether the knee is lifted or not. It's just a stronger experience of what's happening. So just press down into the toes here. Keep the arches of the feet lively, energizing through the whole right leg, and feel the connection between your right hip and the left side of your thorax and shoulder girdle rolling open. If you create a strong line of communication between those points, it's going to really stabilize this posture for you. And then knowing that part of the superficial back line and the spiral line kind of mirror each other. So that means that it's going to help keep the back in extension. So now let's lift the back knee. So we'll press down into front foot, press back into back foot, and let that raise the body up. So again, we're feeling this connection from the right hip this time, coming through the front side on this diagonal, and feeling into this back line to create that erect spine. Beautiful. Very nice. Keep the belly drawn in. Use your back foot for that. Good. And now let the knee come down. Then hands can come down, and we'll step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. It's nice deep breathing here. All right. When you next feel ready, we're going to step to the front of the mat. Take a half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press down into your feet, slightly bend the knees as you come all the way up. Full standing. So let's set up our blocks at the front of the mat like so. I really like to just have blocks as potential props, and I use them a lot in my classes. It gives people a chance to kind of experiment with a little less worry about falling out of postures, etc. So what we're going to explore today is Revolve triangle. Okay, so let's begin by putting the right foot between the blocks, and then we'll step the left foot back and just come down with hands on the blocks. So, if you don't like using blocks, you might decide to just use them on a lower level, or you could just, for the sake of the experiment, keep them lifted like so. So to tap into the spiral line, we're going to push down into the right foot, push, and notice that that's going to help you keep this right hip back. Oftentimes, the hip wants to kind of migrate forward, and then it's very difficult to get any kind of rotation through the spine, so we're pushing through the foot to send this hip back. Then you can take your left hand on the block, bring it closer to your right foot, and then take your right hand to your hip. Keep pushing back through your right foot to send your right hip back, and just notice that it actually feels pretty natural to rotate toward that side. It's literally built into your body. So now let's just make sure we're well grounded and feel into that back foot. It's going to help stabilize us. And then if you like, you're going to bring your hand up. So there's no rush to get there. What's really important is your foundation, so pushing back through the right foot, sending the right hip back, and just notice how naturally it can happen that the spine will rotate open. Feel into your back foot as well, but you're really tapping into what's happening in that front leg to kind of direct the entire posture. Really good. Let's take the hand down. Good. And let's come all the way up from where we are. So hands off the blocks. Yeah, stand on your own feet and come all the way up. That's the safest way. These blocks are a little squishy, so that's the safest way to do that. You guys can step your foot out of there, put your other foot in there, just make your arrangements. Good. Okay, so now your left foot will go in between the blocks. Step your right foot back. Let's come down with hands on the blocks. Push down into your left foot to send your left hip back. Actually, let's just play with this a little bit this time. So notice go off on a few times. Push through your left foot to send your left hip back, and then let it go. And then push through, and then let it go. And just see how the body responds to that. It's actually a pretty useful thing to understand. So keep pushing through that left foot to send your left hip back. Bring your right hand and block a little closer to the left foot, maybe taking your left hand to your left hip. And again, just feeling that that hip is being moved back, and that makes it much more natural to spin the trunk of the body open. And then if you want, the arm can come up. And you can work with the block at different levels too. You don't have to have it at that same level, but it's a good thing to experiment with. So keep pushing through the front foot to send that hip back and then spin around. I'm not really talking about, well, you have to square your hips a certain way or anything like that. Just allow the body to respond when you activate the line. Very nice. Let's bring the hand down. Press down into your front foot and bring the body up. Beautiful. Good. Now let's step that foot back a little bit. And we're going to take another posture. So keeping the blocks set up at the front of the mat. And we'll be a little step back from the blocks this time. Good. So let's all inhale. Just lengthen the body for a moment. Exhale, forward and down. And then we'll come up onto hands on the blocks. So make sure wherever they are, they're kind of nicely placed under the shoulders. Stand on your left foot, send your right foot up. All right, so now let's bend and straighten a couple of times into the standing leg so you really feel like your muscles can turn on. And then organize and activate, so you're dialing outward here. And then we're going to challenge that position. So it's going to want to spin inward. Keep energizing like you're dialing it outward. And then lift that right leg right up and open it up. So in this posture, your standing leg, your standing spiral line, is active in regular Ardha Chandrasana. So you're spinning open. You're standing on your left leg. It's your right side spinning open. And the spiral line is creating stability for the posture through that line. But if you bring the hand down and we take it in the other direction, so now you're going to bring your right hand to the block. It's going to be just left of your foot and start spinning in the other direction. Now you're spinning. It's actually your lifted leg. Now the spiral line from the lifted leg is informing this posture. So you've probably noticed that before in this particular posture, that's the lifted leg has to be extra, extra strong. And that's because you're spinning off of this leg, not the standing leg. Let's bring that foot down, bring the hand down, stand all the way up. You excited to do it again? Arms reach up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale just to put your hands on the blocks. Standing on your right foot, left foot comes up. Let's do a regular Ardha Chandrasana first. So energize into this leg, bend and straighten a couple of times. Feel everything turn on. Keep dialing it outward as you lift the leg and lift the arm. So feeling the relationship of this standing leg, letting you rotate open here. And then we'll bring the hand down. Start to really feel into that lifted leg. Spinning it inward and down, keeping it super energized while you spin open in the other direction. So really use that lifted leg to create the potential for spinning open. Whew. One more breath. Excellent. Bring the hand down, bring the foot down. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Really nice. Very exciting. Okay, more excitement, more excitement. Okay, so now let's bring our hands on our hips. And we'll take just a series of standing balancing poses. So these are really fun because we're not challenging with a really long lever. We're going to keep our knee bent. So let's have hands on the hips. Stand on your left foot and just take the weight away from the right. Energize down into this leg. So you're lifting the arch of the foot. You're dialing that leg outward. And then we'll take the right thigh up and start pressing the hand into the thigh and the thigh into the hand. Now, in this case, you're going to actually probably be able to feel both. You'll feel that wrapping sensation now that you've sensitized yourself to it with those other postures. You might feel that wrapping sensation around the trunk of the body and those erector spinae on the upper back of the head as well. So if you're not really feeling the back side of this line, you can always take your other hand and press your head into your hand. So, usually with standing balancing, people fall out of the balancing pose because they're not connecting. And if you can help people make connections, usually it makes such a difference. Okay, let's step that down and try the other side. So take your time. You want to stand on your right foot this time. Let your left foot come up. So there's no rush to bring it up. You want to make sure you're organized and activated. Another thing that we'll notice in standing single leg postures too is that sometimes we want to sink into the hip, or sometimes it's this hip and we do this kind of thing. So let's just try to find the balance, and we're doing that by organizing and activating both sides. Stay up nice and tall through the body. Again, if you're not really feeling the back body, maybe hand behind the head, press into it to feel that. Good, and then we'll take that down. And that was just a little bit of priming for our next posture. Okay, so let's stand on the left foot. Bring your right foot or right thigh up. And this time we'll take the left hand across the right knee and press the knee into the hand and the hand into the knee. You can take the right hand to the right hip and just create some pressure there first. You want to feel hand pressing into the knee presses back into the hand, really lighting up the spiral line. And then if it feels right in your body, you can bring the hand back, and you can also look back if that works. But once you start making that really strong connection, it makes you feel pretty secure in this posture. Very nice. Very good. They could stay here all day, I can tell. Let's bring the gaze back, bring the hand back to the hip, and you can step the foot down. Beautiful. Okay, let's stand on the right foot. Unweight the left foot, and then bring the thigh up. Now the right hand goes outside the left knee. Start to make a strong connection. Press. You're trying to light up the line. So this means you're just trying to make yourself more aware of it. You want to feel it. You want to use it to create stability in this posture. Start to rotate the shoulder back. Maybe reach the arm back. Let your gaze go back. Remember the upper aspect of the back side of the spiral line. So we're really lifting and pressing into it so we can really feel it. Very nice. And let's bring the gaze back to the front, hand back to the hip, foot back to the floor. Very nice. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up. Exhale, let's take it all the way down. Let's just move the blocks off to the sides. Good. Hands can come to the mat, and you can step or hop back to upper push-up position. Beautiful. Inhale here. Exhale to the mat. You can bring knees down first if you like. Inhale, little cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Very nice. Hop your feet through to seated. And stretch your legs out ahead of you. Okay, so we'll go into some seated twists. And these are very common postures, pretty easy perhaps, but what we're going to do that's just maybe a little bit different is we'll go into the twist actively. So we're sitting up nice and tall here, and if you notice your students or in your own body, you tend to spill the pelvis backwards, so that would be this kind of position. Maybe I'll show on my mat. So more like this. When you bring the knee in especially, then it would be better to be up on a block, maybe not quite this high, but something under the sitting bones so that you can get the pelvis in a neutral position. Okay, that will give you a better spiral. And partly that's because you're not compressing the front edge of the disc then. Okay, so let's bring the right foot in. And sit up nice and tall, and then you can take that foot across the leg. It does ease the twist a little bit if you keep the foot on the same side, so you always have that option, okay? But now we're going to press down into the foot, stay tall through the head, and pressing through your left foot as well. Inhale the arms to come out to the sides. Good. Stay tall, and then spin your body toward the right. You're moving there under your own power. So can I get my spiral line and the paraspinal muscles to actually move me into this rotated position without me using my arms to kind of pull myself over there? So we're just actively taking ourselves there. Press down into your right foot, press out into your left foot, ground into your sitting bones, make your spine tall, activate into the right side. If you look to the right, that's going to help all the right muscles turn on to help rotate you to the right. Great. Now you can come in with your arms and just remain here to support. Fingers can come down, right fingers, and we just stay nice and tall and use our breath to start actually enhancing this posture. So we're always working on stability first. Can I take myself here? Can I own that position? And then can I strengthen there? So again, without using arms to sort of passively move me there, I'm getting stronger. And then after a few breaths, bringing the arms in, and you can just support yourself staying there, because it's great to just breathe, let the diaphragm kind of stay twisted a little bit. This is really good for the diaphragm. It's just kind of an active inhibition technique. All right, let's take the gaze back to the front and release, and you can straighten the legs and shake it out. All right, let's sit up nice and tall, and we'll take the left foot in. Stepping the foot across, and then reach the arms out. Press down into your left foot, press forward into your right foot. Inhale, stay tall. Exhale, spinning to the left. Take yourself as far as you can under your own power. Looking to the left helps. Beautiful. Hold that for a couple of breaths. Just use your breathing to help you sustain. You do want to fatigue, remember. We don't need to fatigue in every single posture, but in several is good. Let's take the arms in and support ourselves here to remain for another breath or two. Very nice. And when you're ready, you can release and straighten the leg and shake it out. Very good. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, spill onto the mat all the way down. And you can scooch forward if you need to, just to make sure your head's on the mat as well. Good. Let's bring the hands to the back of the head, but without pressing the hands into the head a whole lot here. It's okay to do that when you're in this position, but not when you are coming up. Keep the legs ready to be active. Okay, inhale, bring your right knee toward your nose and bring your left shoulder toward your right knee. So not so much elbow, think shoulder, because we're working with the trunk here. Good, and then bring it down, and let's go to the other side. Left knee comes up, and right shoulder comes toward it. So there's many ways of doing this posture. You can take that down, and we'll do one more on the other side. You can hold it there for a few breaths. So let's take the right up, and left shoulder to right thigh. So just feeling into the spiral line that's actually helping you make this happen, keeping active into the left leg. So you have one side that's facilitating, one side that's making it happen, is the motivator, if you will. And let's come down and let's try the other side. When you're holding, make sure you're still breathing. Okay, right shoulder toward the left thigh. Good. So really shortening the left leg to right shoulder connection here. And let's take it down. Very nice. Good. So several of those will make you very aware of the more anterior aspect of the spiral line. Okay, so now let's do something that's kind of unwinding for the spiral line. That'll be nice. Let's bring the feet in, plant the feet. And you can actually bring the thighs in over the body a little bit. Yeah, bring the thighs, take your feet off the floor, and then drop your knees over to the right side. Arms will stretch out to either side. Great. So you need some space for this one. And we'll begin by inhaling and pressing the arms and shoulder blades back into the mat. And then exhale, bring your left hand across to your right. Yeah, palm to palm. Allowing the head to roll along the mat. Inhale and open. And exhale and close. So it's kind of like we're gentling the line now. So we've been using it, tension, you guys can carry on in your own good time. We've been tensioning it throughout the practice to use the spiral line to stabilize our postures. And now we're just softening and just letting, it's just a different experience of the line. The line is a reinforcement in the body. So it's a very natural line to tap into. And this is very calming for the nervous system, but also for this line. All right, so we're gonna allow them to do the other side and then take Shavasana, but that is our spiral line practice. You know, just a few opportunities to tap into this line. I'm sure you're gonna start noticing it more in walking and other activities that you do. All right, I'll see you on the next lesson.